Plaintiff Mark McNeil's evening at a house party was ruined when the defendant moved his car and it was hit. He's suing for $1,000 in damages. Defendant Shelli Andrews says she told Mark not to drive to the party due to no parking on her block. She admits to moving the car, but says the damages are not her fault.
Well, it says here you're friends, or at least prior to the suit you were friends. And Mark, you are suing Shelli?
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
I've known Shelli for probably 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I also know her family. Her sister was going away, so Shelli had a party for her sister. I was at the party. I was in the back of the house. When I got there, I put my keys on the counter. While I was in the back, Shelli moved my car.
Where was the car?
It was parked in the front.
On the street, in her driveway, where was it?
It was on the, it was kind of like in her driveway.
Yeah, okay, now let me hear from you.
Okay, so my sister was going away. I had a gathering for her.
Yep.
I explained to everyone I live in a very busy area. There's a big park by my house. There's no parking. I have a very narrow driveway. And we have like 4 cars of the tenants that live there. I'm not the only one that lives in that home.
Yes.
So Mark came, he parked in a driveway.
He parked in the driveway?
Yeah, he was in the driveway.
Okay.
So looking for Mark, I'm upstairs. My neighbor has to move. My son is trying to leave. Mark's car is in the way. I see Mark's keys. I say to myself, it doesn't matter where Mark is at, I'm gonna move his car.
Oh, okay.
I told him in the first place not to park the car there.
I was just right in the backyard, like you could have came and got me. I could have moved my own car. When I came upstairs, she told me that she moved the car. There may be a little bit of damage.
She says, I moved your car.
She says she moved the car. I guess she hit something. So she was like, come take a look at it. I went downstairs and I looked at the car. So she told me, it's a little bit of damage, and it was a little bit of damage.
By the way, can we take a look at the pictures of the car damage?
And that's the thing, I told him I would, we could work something out.
She was like, when she gets her tax return, she would take care of it.
Did
she
you
took
try
it
to?
upon
Well,
herself.
his car wasn't supposed to be in the driveway to begin with.
I always parked there, it was never a problem.
But he understands it's a party. I actually got photos here.
Oh, good, okay.
Okay, so this is my driveway. It is very narrow, very narrow. So there was car here, Mark's car, my son's car.
Okay.
So I ended up reversing his car. Well, my neighbor moved her car. I moved Marcus's car, reversed it, and I drove it, and I parked it next to like the side of the park, the playground park.
Yeah, you parked it where you're allowed to park a car.
Yeah, it's
a regular
he wouldn't
parking
get a ticket.
place.
It's a regular parking spot.
And
that was
when
cleared.
when you did that, no one hit you? You weren't in an accident when you were driving it?
As far as I know, no, I was not.
Well, you would know if you were in an accident.
Exactly.
Okay, so you parked the car, and then you brought the what you do when you
I put the keys back on the counter.
back on the counter.
And then I went, to go entertain because it was my party.
Sure.
And I was the host.
But no one is saying that there wasn't damage to the car.
No, so then he tells me that there's damage on his car. Who moved my car? So me being the friend, he was very upset, very upset. I've known him for years, so he's looking at me like, well, you're the only one that moved my car. So, me being the person that I am, knowing that he was that upset, I said, we could work something out. But first I want to check with my neighbors to see with the camera to make sure that, someone else wasn't responsible for this.
She told me she would pay for she told me she would pay for it.
Mark, I don't understand, is when you filed the papers, you gave a different story. You say, and I'm quoting here, you had left your car parked in Shelli's driveway. You took an Uber home?
No, that's not. I was going to take an Uber home. Had I drunk that much, I was planning on taking an Uber, but I didn't drink like that. So I guess my story got mixed up or misunderstood.
Mark says since he'd been drinking, he decided to Uber home and he left his car in Shelli's driveway. Mark says when he came back the following morning, the front of his car had scratches and the bumper was pulled out. How would the story shift from you left the car there and you took the Uber home, which was a responsible thing to do, but that's a big fact to suddenly, now it's a different story.
I must have been misunderstood, but that never happened. I did say
Okay.
that night I was planning on, if I drunk too much, I was going to take an Uber, but I never did.
She admits she moved the car. That's what, there's an agreement here.
That's what
You're
I
not
said.
accusing her of going on a joyride, of
No.
getting in an accident. There'd be a report, it'd be hit and run if someone ran off. So she moved the car. You both agreeing on that. If you had moved the car, you would have wound up in the same place, apparently, or pretty close. In other words, she parked legally. She didn't take the car to a place she wasn't
Yeah,
supposed to.
he mistook
She-
what I
now,
said
what
for
you might
confession.
have done, the appropriate thing to do at the party, is you knew he was at the party. It is totally reasonable to have that car moved out of that driveway because it was blocking other cars. It is totally reasonable to have it parked in a legal spot on the street. And there is absolutely no evidence that she was involved in a car crash. So based on
But
that,
she did something when she
well,
moved
we
it.
don't know that. Any more than she could say, well, that probably happened before you even got in the car to drive to the party.
My car wasn't like that.
Well, I understand that, but when you come to court, you have to prove your case. So based on that, I've dismissed the case. Hey, YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.